Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world of Wayne. We've now got issue 24 of the IXO Collections release to build the Peugeot 205 1.9 GTI. You know what, I don't actually know how many issues there are. Obviously it's detailing issue 25 here, but I think we are getting near the end because I think all there's left to do is connect up the electrics, do the doors. We're doing the seat belts and stuff today and starting some of the interior panels. I think that's it. So not many more to go on this. But as you can see, I've got the, let me just lift this up for you so you can see how big this is. I've got the bodywork here with fingerprints all over it, which I do need to clean off. That's bad of me, that is. I've kept the internals of the vehicle just over the other side here at the moment. The reason for that is because we're not actually using that in this pack here. But if you want to get this for yourself, I have put the link down here to the IXO Collections website, and you can get that all the way from pack 1. And also over on the IXO Collections website, you have got the Porsche 917KH that we have been building on the channel. But I think we're going to get jumping straight into it. So without further ado, let's get cracking. So these are all the parts we've got here. I'll get these all out. This is stage 81. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to be putting these little attachments for the visors into their bases. Now the attachments are metal. They look just like that, very tiny. Look at that compared to my fingernail. That's just going to go into the hole of one of these bases. So when it's in, it's going to look like that. As you can see there, probably best to look at the picture. I'll repeat that on the other one. In like that, and just push it through. It's like putting an earring stud in. Not that hard, no, but there you go, that's done. We then want to bring over the headliner that we were working on at the end of the last stage, and you can see where these are going to go because they're exactly the same shape as these items here. So I'm going to put these in. Doesn't really matter too much about what direction they're going in to start off with, as long as the ball joint here is facing down. So put that in like that. There we go, and that's the first one in like that. They're going to be held in with HP screws. Tilting that up a bit to get these in. Now remember, you are going into plastic on these, so you really don't need to over tighten them. Once you feel tension, that'll be perfect. That's the first one. That's the second. And there's the third. You can see how magnetized my screwdriver is. Let's check this out. Like, you see, it's attracted to my screwdriver. We're going to do exactly the same thing on the other side. So put that in like that, and then 3 HP screws to hold this down. So when they're both in, they should look just like that. Now we're going to be putting these visors in. Now they are labelled on here. One says L, and on the other one we do have an R. So that's going to dictate what way around they go. So this, because it's upside down, is the left-hand side of the vehicle. So this is going to be here. If you are unsure, we're going to be threading this over the pin here. If you are unsure, then obviously where that letter is, we don't want that visible. So obviously when this folds up, the letter should be facing the headlining. But just push that on. And we're going to do exactly the same on the other side. There you go. It doesn't go all the way down on the shafts on the sides here. Just enough to keep that centre in the centre there. Centre in the centre? That's a good one, isn't it? Central in the centre. Perhaps that's what I should have said. Okay, so then we've got the interior light. So this is what the mount looks like. We have got a lens to put into that. It's a tiny lens that looks just like that there. So all we're going to do is drop that in just from the other side here. So it fits perfectly flat. Make sure that looks okay from this side. So that's in. That looks perfect. And then we're just going to be dropping this onto this section here so that the channels of the sun visors are going to go just into the holes at the side. So if you do this sideways, then that interior that you just put on is not going to fall out. Just lining it up. That looks almost perfect. It's perfect now, and there we go, that's in place. It's going to be held in from the other side here with an AP screw. Just Gonna have to move that wire out the way to get to it, but an AP screw just down there. And there you go. That looks absolutely excellent. And these obviously now can fold down and up. I think I'll keep them down for now. So we can put this whole headline into one side. Just gonna move my screws over because I'm gonna be bringing up my part work upgrades mat. And the reason for that is because I need to bring over the bodywork of the vehicle because we're going to be attaching the antenna just into the top there. So this is what that looks like. It's just going to follow the channel that we've got into the top. So I'm going to push that in just like that. And that's going to be held in once again with an AP screw. But to attach it, I'm going to have to turn it over. So now you can see why I've got this here. You will also note that I have got masking tape around the vehicle so that when I am turning it upside down, we do have to do that quite a few times. The doors aren't just going to go flying open. So get this all the way in and I'll show you on the close-up camera, and that's what that looks like when that's in. So once again, I'm going to turn the vehicle over because now we're going to be putting the headlining into the base here. So just making sure we put it the right way around and we're not pinching any of these strings that are coming from the boot. I'm just going to lay this over the top, making sure the electric wire's coming out the side as well. And there we go. We're ready to secure that down. Now, we're going to be putting BM screws just underneath the visors at the front here. There and there. I have dropped these into oil because we're going into metal. So that's the first BM screw in. I had a sneaky feeling that the screws at the back were going to be different, but I've just looked ahead in the instructions and yeah, they're not. So we're attaching all of these with BM screws. So 2 at the front. So I've just got a cloth here. I'm just going to wipe off the excess oil that I got there. That's the headliner in. Turn it over, and that's all there is to do in that stage. So in stage 82, we've got the interior panels to start creating, and we've also got the start of the seat belts. So I'm just going to move this to one side because the first thing we want is the interior trim panel. That looks just like this. And I'm going to be putting this piece of frame on top of it. Now this bit of frame is plastic. This is going to be going into the channel just here. Make sure that sits perfectly in there. Like that. Push that down. It's got sort of like some lugs on this, so it's actually going to keep itself in. And then when we got to that stage, we've got some quarter-like glass hinges to put in, which look like that. And they go in the direction that you can see into the picture, into the holes that you could just see along the side. So I'll get these in. And when they're in, they should look just like that. We can put that to one side because we're going to take one of the belts down. Now these belts have a looped end and a flat end. And what we want to do first is on the flat end first, we're going to be threading some stuff onto it. We want the belt buckle, which looks like this. We want to put this on the same way when I put it down as the fold in the loop. So if I push this across, so the metal of the belt buckle should be facing the same way as the fold of that loop. The fold, as you can see, is on top. Then we're going to be putting the little bracket that's going to attach this to the side. That's going to go on top. That's here. Thread that through as well. So it's pointing in the same direction as the buckle. And there we go. If I lie that out, you can see how that looks. Turning this back over here, the bracket section of this is going to go into the hole that we can see just there. So that's going to go on like that there. That's going to be held in with an AP screw. Now rather than open another pack, I do have a spare one from the last stage. So I'm just going to put that one in here now. And then that's the bracket on. The open end of this is going to go into the slot that we can see just there. So put that one down here so it's coming out of the other side of the belt. The door, sorry. Trim panel, as you can see, that's going into the door now. And we need to make sure on the other side of this, we've got at least 15 mil in here. As you can see, I've got way more than that. So I will keep that around about here. Now, a little bit confusing here that in the instructions, it shows you a stopper, which can stop that feeding through there. I'm hoping that's going to come later on because they don't provide a stopper in this stage. But I'm going to leave that with the required distance that it's asking me to do. But in the instructions, as you can see here, there's some sort of plastic stopper on it. I don't know where that goes. We haven't got anything like that. But we do have another 3/4 hinge, which is going to go into the hole in this section here, facing the same direction as all the other ones. So I'm going to push that in now. So when all 3 of those are in, they should look just like that. If you do have problems getting it in, just use a little tiny sander just to sand a little bit of that lug to get it in. But they're all in. And that, at the moment, is all there is to do in that stage. We do have another piece of seatbelt left over. So stage 83, we're working more on the belts here. That looks like that. So I'm just going to push this to one side and bring over the door we were working on last time and having it this way round, because we are putting the armrest with the ashtray in the other side here. So, go on, ashtray in cars. Can you believe that? Right, so this is going to be going into the 2 holes that we can see there. So that's just going to go in like this. There. It's going to be held in from the other side with 2 AP screws. So, one here. And then just one on the other side. I forgot the cars had ashtrays, I had to say. In the back. Not that I ever let anyone smoke in my car. There we go, so that's in place. We've got another trim panel, which is going onto this section just here. Looks like that. So I can put that in like that. Once again, held on the other side with AP screws. The detail in this is absolutely amazing. I am loving this. There we go, that's in place. We've got the parcel tray support, which looks like that. That's just going to go into the square hole, rectangular hole that you can see just there. Once again, held in with an AP screw. And the reason I say about the detail is, you've got to remember half of this is you're not even going to see. And there we go, that's that supporting as well. We're going to be taking the other bit of belt here, which hasn't got any loops on the end. And we're going to be putting a attachment like last time on, which is the attachment that will attach it to the frame, and we'll also put a buckle on the other side here. And this time the attachment here is going to be put onto the hole that we can see there. So this is going to go just above this section there. That's going to be held in once again with an AP screw. Seems to be the screw of choice on the build of this one. So it's going in there. Okay, quite a clever way to do things now. We've got another trim panel to put in, and that's just going to go into that panel there. So we're going to be putting it in this way. But what we are going to do is that belt that we've just put in on this side, we're going to be wrapping that round the lip. Just let's move that one out of the way at the bottom. So it's going to go round there, round this side, and then we're going to be biting it with the screw that we're about to use. Make sure this isn't twisted. We're going to be biting it in the screw we're about to use to actually secure that trim panel in. So it's going to go on like that. Over here. Trim panel in here. And we're going to hold all of that in with an AP screw. So let's see how this works. Now there's no holes in this belt. So when we put the screw in, I think it's just aiming to create a hole to actually trap this in when we screw this together, which it looks like it's doing. That's nice and tight. So as you can see, we've got the trim panel in there, and this belt isn't going anywhere now, as you can see, which means we're now ready to put this in the vehicle. So we've got the Partwork Upgrades mat here. I'm going to turn this over, and it's actually going to be going probably best on the top camera on this side here, And when you do put it in, make sure you don't trap this cable lead from the boot section. Just so you know, the other side of this belt goes into the slot on this side here. Just pushing that through for a second. That's going to keep that tidy for when I put that in. And then this fits in just like that. Now we're going to be using some JM screws to put that in. It's actually screwed in from just these 2 points at the top there. So I'll get some JM screws together. Once again, these are going into metal. Bit of oil. And I'll get the first one in. Perfect. And then the second one will be just going into this channel here. And that section's now fully in. And then we can open the boot up. So I'm going to take my masking tape off here. Just like that. And on the side of that trim panel, we're going to be putting this part, which came in the last pack, which is actually just going to go into the shaft of the boot there. So I'm going to attach this to the side of the trim panel we just put on. This one might be best on the side camera to see where I'm putting this, because I'm having to keep this open to actually find a place to screw this in. But we've got to get this into here. A long nose screwdriver is going to be your friend with this. I do think we should have probably put this piece in while that trim panel wasn't on the vehicle. But there we go, that's in. The screws for that, just so you know, came in the pack that these little struts came in. But there we go, that's in. And then what will happen is we're just going to now feed this, make sure that the string goes underneath that, into the boot there. So that's going to go in like that. So when it opens, you've got a like gas strut there. That's brilliant. I love that. Let's turn that back onto its top, because that's all there is to do in that stage. Brilliant. So the last stage we're doing in this pack is pretty much doing the other side. We're going to start the other side anyway, so we'll get all of these pieces out. It is a little bit of a mirror section, because, move this over, once again, we're going to be putting the trim panel just onto this section here, and it's pushed in with the lugs that it's got on it. So 1, 2, make sure that's in nice and secure. Then we're going to be putting 2 of these quarter light window holders in, making sure that we've got the right kind. There's 3 here, 2 are similar, 1 is different, so it's the similar ones that I want. And I'll get these into these small holes. You know what, actually I've just found putting a little bit of oil with a cocktail stick into those holes really does help you get them in as well. As you can see, they've just got in fine. Put that to one side. Once again, we want the belt with the loop. Make sure the fold is upright. And then we're going to be putting a belt buckle on one end. Feed that through. And then just an attachment on the other end there. Excellent. We're going to be attaching this other end into the hole in that trim there with an AP screw. You should have plenty of AP screws left over from the other stage. So that's going on just like that. We're putting this section here through the slot in the trim panel. And again, making sure that we've got just a little bit left over on this side. It doesn't all have to be in there. There is no stoppers for it, but when we put the little armrest in, that's going to act like a stopper. So there we go, that's in. Going to use a bit of oil just to put the other quarter light holder just into this side. Little bit in there. And the other one's like this. It's got a sort of rectangular end on it. And there we go, that's gone on perfect. Excellent. So once again, we've got all 3 of those on. Probably best for the other side there. Put that down, and we're just going to be preparing another belt. So buckle on one side, and again put the adapter on so it's facing the correct way, facing up. So it looks like that, and that is all there is to do in that stage, and that is all there is to do in that pack. So you're definitely going to have to keep these safe because you don't want them falling off of there, but obviously we know how this is going to go along at the end. We are going to need that gas strut as well, which we kept from the previous pack. I guess that's going to be used in the next delivery. So I'm keeping every single screw that we've had from here, and I think what I'm going to do, let's put the vehicle together so we can see how it's looking now. And there you go. I absolutely love this. Look how big it is. Perfect. I think I'll make one more thumbnail. I love doing these thumbnails. There you go. But there you go, that's how that's looking at the moment. Obviously we've got to do a lot more work with the belts. We're going to be putting those in. Do need to clean it up. It's full of fingerprints at the moment, so I don't know how many stages are left to go though. It can't be many more now. We are getting to the end of that. But once again, if you want to get this for yourself, I'll put the link down here to the IXO Collections website. You can get this all the way from pack 1. But I really do hope you liked that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Remember, we are doing a live stream tonight. I think I was going to do the Battleship Bismarck, but I'm not sure because, believe me, some of them are absolutely ginormous amounts that we've got to do. But we'll see how that goes. Other than that, take care.